To say this has been awkward is an understatement.
So this is part 3 of our recirculating shower build, and in the last 2 videos we've made the shower frame and made sure it's really nice and waterproof inside. This time we're going to be putting some PVC lining all around and doing some wet room flooring at the bottom. So hopefully by the end of this one it'll actually start to look like a shower inside as well. So now we're going to do the floor for it, and what we've got for that is this quite rugged wet room flooring. This is Altro Pisces, and conveniently we have the piece of vinyl that used to be in the shower, so we should literally just be able to draw around this and just make it a little bit smaller, because now there's tape and tanking in there. It's a little bit too tight, but it gives us the shape to work with. If you were doing this wet room installation commercially with this flooring, you wouldn't actually do it flush to the edges like this. What they do is they go up the sides a little bit and mould it around, and then you have your wall piece coming down over the top, so there's no chance of any water getting to this crease. We're not doing that because it would be really complicated in this tight space, and one of the reasons for that is going around the corners and things, you need to be able to cut the flooring and then weld it back together with a hot weld glue gun, which we don't have. We've done the floor first, so that's sitting right back at the edge. The wall will come over the top, and then we're going to put quite a thick bead of sealant all the way around as well. And obviously we've got the tank kit underneath, so fingers crossed it should be enough for what we're doing.
So just pressing it into the drain hole, and that's moulded quite nicely to that shape, which is good. The only other thing is that there's a slight ridge here where it's the edge of the drain matting on the tanking tape. I think if we were to do it again, we'd probably just cut it a lot closer to the hole, but never mind. So this is the stuff that we've got to cover 3 of our walls on the inside. It's called hygienic wall cladding, PVC wall cladding, and we've got it in a white colour, so as you can see it's quite flexible stuff. So yeah, now we've got to get the shapes and cut around it on the cladding.
That's going to be the really awkward part. Could be here a while. Okay, we switched to the jigsaw. It's not actually hard to cut, it's just really awkward because it's so big and floppy. Well done.
To say this has been awkward is an understatement. Right. Oh god.
Not bad. Making a nice squeaky clean sound.
We're on to a winner.
It's so wet. Okay, this is a bit ridiculous. I'm not sure I can cut it this weather. Bit a bigger awning. Basically hasn't been raining all day till the exact moment we got everything out to try and cut it again. First fit of the panel I cut in the pouring rain. If it doesn't fit, I'm blaming that. Promising so far. Might need a little bit of trimming in places, but trimming is better than it being too small. That piece was going to be really hard to cut, but it was actually the easiest one.
Very satisfying to get that in. It's looking nice.
Satisfying, but fiddly.
Very fiddly.
So we've got the fun part of sticking on the actual PVC sheeting now. You can get some cladding adhesives for that come in a cartridge, which we were going to do, but we've already got the CT1, and we figured this is probably similar stuff, so we're going to give this a go. And this is quite nice. It's completely water resistant, and you can even apply it underwater even apparently. So hopefully it'll be pretty good, and it should have quite good grab. So we're just going to go around and do some lines going down, and then put our first panel up. Ah.
Got a shower wall in.
How does it look?
Looks good.
So Abby's got the really awkward one. We've done this really fiddly one as one piece so that we would avoid having extra joins on the top and bottom. It's being a bit tricky.
A little bit.
Okay, so this one was a bit fiddly to cut out, but we've cut most of the box out and just left these two flaps at the top and bottom. And what we're going to try and do now is to heat this up and fold it along the edge so we don't have to have another join here. So just make it a little bit nicer for the waterproofing. So we brought it outside the van because it was getting a bit fiddly trying to do it in there. We've actually managed to get one bent into shape now. It's looking pretty good. And we have found actually it's quite forgiving. If you heat it up a bit, it will kind of reform as long as you don't bend it too much. We've just done it with basically a straight edge and just making sure we get it nice and hot before we bend it. Like a
when this one's in.
a lot of work, it's fiddly.
So we are trying to figure out what we're doing with our feature wall in the shower, and we did buy this tile. It's like a honeycomb tile that slots together tongue and groove, and I don't know, we just weren't entirely happy with the quality of it. The print's not the absolute best it could
It's
be.
not the most realistic print.
Yeah, so then we remembered that there's this company called Reco surfaces which does actual embossed tiles that actually looks quite realistic. So they sent us a sample pack, and now we're just trying to choose which one of those we want.
Great.
It is a bit more pricey to go for this, but we thought that if we buy a sheet of it, we can use most of it for the feature wall in the shower, but then any leftover we can actually use in the kitchen. So that is our plan, and right now we're trying to consider between these two. They're really light as well. I think even lighter probably than that one. With our worktop sample that we got, would be something like that. So the other one we're considering is this dark egg colour, like that, which does look nice on its own. But then if you consider that all the cabinets underneath will be that colour, we're wondering if that's going to be just too much blue everywhere. So probably going to go for this one.
It's got very thick delivery.
Yeah, awesome.
Nice. Look at that.
Very cool.
And now what we need to do, obviously because it's rolled up, is just leave it to climatise and roll out for about 12 hours before we use it. There we go. So ordered a ready-made wall.
Nice. Wow. Nice.
And we've got a giant cardboard tube for the cats as well.
See how it cuts. It's a wobbly one this time, so hopefully it will be the same. Whew. Good work.
Stuff is really easy to cut. It's just so awkward being such a big piece.
Yeah.
Alright.
Nice.
So we've got the panel all ready to go in now. For sticking it in, we're going to use this high tack adhesive, basically because that's the one that Reco says to use for it. So we thought, might as well follow their instructions. And they also say for a campervan install, we should put beads 3 centimetres apart. So quite close together actually. So we're just going to put that on the panel here and then stick it in. Right, looks like quite a lot of sealant, so I don't think it's going to be coming off.
Hopefully not.
It's looking pretty good. I don't know how we managed to do that without getting sealant everywhere.
I don't know either. We cut it so that there's a 2mm gap around the edge, because apparently it can expand and contract within different weather conditions and stuff, so it's made it actually quite easy to put in, which is nice.
I love how realistic it looks actually.
Yeah.
not too bad, is it?
Nope.
Just got the ceiling to do now, and that's it. It's taken a long time, hasn't it?
Always does.
I think we're pretty much in.
Nice. That looks awesome. So how's your head height now that all the layers are in finally?
Pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's comfortable.
Considering we're in a van, that's not bad, is it?
Yeah. For you, it'll be like a mansion shower.
Here comes the satisfying part.
Grand opening of the shower.
Yay! Oh, it's so nice and white in here. that's so much brighter than it has been. So for the sealant, we're just going to use a standard bathroom like anti-mold sealant, and we've got a profile tool to help with getting a nice edge all the way around. That looks very, very fiddly.
It's pretty awkward. This is probably the worst corner of the whole shower. So putting on this bathroom sealant is turning out to be one of the most fiddly things we've done in the whole van.
It's horrendous, I hate it so much. So if there's any weird angles at all anywhere, you know, if it's too wide or too narrow, this tool just becomes a bit pointless, so nightmare!
Well, that went so much easier than the other ones.
Why can't they all be like that? So I think Tim's methods are getting a little bit desperate. He's concocted up this plan to have an ice lolly to then use a stick to try and use it for the sealant.
I saw a video on YouTube where someone used a lolly stick as a sealant smoother, so I figured it's so tedious in here, we'll just try anything. So yeah, just eating a lolly in my shower.
I think it's just an excuse to have an ice cream, to be honest.
Oh, Jackson. Well, we've had a chicken in the shower. Now we've got a cat in the shower.
Other animals can we collect?
Seems to work pretty good. It's quite satisfying. There we go, it's not too bad.
Nice. I never want to see bathroom sealant ever again.
You want to get it really nice, but unlike everything else, the more you go back and try and do it, the worse it gets. So it's all about that first run. That is the last one.
Thank goodness. I'm very happy with what we've done. Yeah, I think so good. So it is the next day. We have cleaned up everything inside the shower and we're just on to figuring out where we're going to put our shower rail and all the other bits and pieces and our taps and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's a batten behind there, but we don't know. Obviously we need to put 2 screws in, we need to know exactly where that is so we don't screw into nothing.
So I've just put this magnet at the bottom, whoops, behind, because we can still access the back here. About there somewhere.
Cool.
Nice. So if we just do that all the way up, then we can get the line of the left-hand side of the button.
Looks pretty good.
Yep. Definitely went into wood.
Good side. So the next thing we're going to do is put the taps on. So they're going to sit somewhere around there. It's taken a bit of playing around, a bit of thought to figure out how to actually do that, because obviously in the van we don't have rigid pipes coming through to just put the tap onto. So what we have done is we have bought this fixing plate, and we're going to put that kind of on there, and we've just got to drill 2 holes into our nice new shower to mount on there. So that's basically like the batten we've got on the wall, and we've just put a groove in there. And if we do that, we can then put this in here, and it won't, the screws won't sit proud of the batten. Then we've got a rough mock-up of the wall, so we've got a layer of 5mm ply and the PVC. Then this is all the stuff that came with our taps. So that's going to screw in there. And this one in here. And then we can screw these on. And then finally, you put the taps on. And the taps have these little washers that go in as well. Then we should just be able to screw that on like that. So yeah, that's pretty much how it will be, we think. So I think that should work. So we just need to drill 2 32mm holes into the shower now. I need to get them lined up so they're exactly 15 centimeters apart, so it all screws together properly. Nice. Finding magnets are really useful when you're doing stuff in the van. Well, there's no going back now. Really quite nervous about this one for some reason. So all the sealant is dry and we can put in the fixing plate, and one thing we're trying to do is make sure they align to the same place. So if we just screw that in, then where it naturally stops is kind of on the side, which is different for this one. So we were going to put some PTFE tape on there, but actually we thought we'd try this Loctite 55, which seemed to have really good reviews. So we've done that on that one, and it makes it really nice and tight in there and allows us to actually turn it and stop at any point, so we can get them both pointing straight up, which is what we want. Abby said it just looks like dental floss.
It does.
So hopefully it'll stop it leaking, because it'd be a bit annoying to have a leak in the shower wall there. shower.
Doesn't work like a shower yet.
Right, so now we can just put in the actual drain and get it fixed in permanently.
So all the sealant's dry now, so we're just going to go for a final water test. So here we go. Okay. Ooh, what's going everywhere?
Nice, so I can't see any leaks.
Nope. Looking pretty good. Very pleased with that. It's awesome.
So I guess that is the end of this video. At some point we'll actually get it plumbed in properly, but for now we're going to move on to something else. I think we're probably going to start doing the kitchen next.
Yep.
See how it goes.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.